I thought for starting the Lightning Talks and celebrating the 2 years, I say a bit about what we did in the last 2 years and have a little look out into the future. So today, Meeting C++ Online is, as you know it, and 2 years ago, we started this to explore things in the online world. And I'm kind of happy that today we do have almost 2,300 members. So when this group started, it was important as a playground to Meeting C++ to see what works. And from the beginning, I wanted to see if we could do more than talks, where just somebody gives a talk and we ask them some questions, and then that's it. So that is like how the fairs got born, and the event in May, which was speaking about C++, which I organized, which actually featured Lightning Talks, but was like a closed event, so you couldn't like submit Lightning Talks to it. Made kind of, for me, the knowledge available that we could do Lightning Talks, that we have the technical setup to do it, and so hence we do it now in the group. And I don't know how often we do it, but we'll do it often enough to have a few runs. So probably like twice a year. That would be good. And yeah, we started on Raymo, and Raymo had this particular feature that it has 2 states where a meetup runs them. And the first state is what you see. It's basically the break state where people sit on tables and talk, and then the software will give you a countdown for 30 seconds, and then you will transition to the second mode where you see the talk. And I started wondering if we could utilize Raymo for something else, which would not feature a talk, if we could utilize these tables for events. And that's how the fairs basically got born. And today is a job fair and also book and tool fair, which I'm going to talk about in a second. And last year, when I looked for a valid replacement for Raymo, I got to see Hubilo, and in the end, we are hosting now on Hubilo. And I can tell you already, the next year, the 3rd year, which we're now having, will also be on Hubilo. And today and tomorrow are actually the last 2 events which are on the world contract. And our track record for the 2 years is pretty good. We have over 50 online events, but some of the things count as 2 events on Meetup, like the job fairs, and there's also the conferences from last and this year and 2020, and meeting embedded, etc., etc. So there's some things more, but that's a good run. And there's like in September we have 7 events. And I might even like be looking into having currently we don't have an event in the last week, and maybe I have an event which is either in the last week in September or in the first week of October. I have to see if that works out. And the fairs are a great success, but they are also a lot of work. So I'm always looking for people wanting to join and be a company that employs people and is at the fair, has a conversation with the folks coming to the fair, and also receives for that effort a lot of CVs and resumes. And same as when you have like a tool, or when you have a book or an open source project which is related to C++, then you can have a table in the lounge for yourself on the book and tool fair. And basically have just folks come to your table and you can have a conversation about your tool or just anything else. And a quick overview on what I plan for the future. We do not have CPP-cast anymore, so I would like to offer an alternative, not like CPP-cast. I cannot replace CPP-cast, but I would like to make AMAs, and AMA stands for Ask Me Anything, in a recorded version available, that we meet with somebody in Hubilo and record the session in the rooms and simply have them, answer our questions and have the conversation then later on YouTube for everyone else to see. Tomorrow is something new. Community planning session is something where I got into when I was looking like, hey, how did we get started? What did I do 10 years ago? Because 10 years is now also for reading C++. And I kind of found a news entry about a community planning session, which we did at the beginning. And I was like, yeah, that's actually kind of a good idea. And so I thought, well, if that worked, 10 years ago, we have now the means to do that again. Just back then it was an IRC, now maybe not use IRC anymore. So it will be in Hubilo kind of using today's event again. And of course, also something I found this year is, as me, C++ is my main job, that I want to use the tooling which I use for the user group and the user group itself and some of the other things I built was using C++ a bit more for promotion to actually have also like this hiring in C++ event be more targeted towards people that actually want to hire folks and are recruiters or job leads or team leads in their companies, so that I can win them to have a starting cooperation on the job fair with me, C++. And then I want to mention sponsorships, which is something I would not have mentioned if I wouldn't have a sponsor for the first time in 2 years for the events next week. Next week is our regular meetup for September with a talk from Johan van Stembroek, and which, by the way, he's here, so if he hangs around, maybe can ask him about that if you're interested in coroutines. But that also is sponsored by Undo, and I'm very happy to be able to get a little bit of funding through them for the things I do here. And so the next events. Next week we have the regular meeting, which I just mentioned, but we have also the book on tool fair, which is also, again, as you can see, attended by Undo, but also by the author of Beautiful C++, which is Guy for sure. And I'm not sure if Kate has time. Maybe Kate comes around, maybe not. We'll see. Then, yeah, the hiring in C++. I do that this time in LinkedIn, and that's also kind of a new experiment to see if that works and could be used and utilized as a platform. And the online C++ job fair will be in September, as I already mentioned. Tomorrow we have a community planning session, which is actually targeted at folks who want to organize or already organize things in the community and, for example, user groups. And I currently think about starting a learning group where you can have a membership in and have weekly meetings where we then discuss things for C++. And I've just dug through my old teaching materials, which are all in German, and I have to kind of translate them to English and update them because they are quite old. And then I probably will provide some learning materials and provide the space for the debates, and also kind of make this a group which focuses on the needs of the ones which then are members, and will openly debate like, where do we want to go with that? And that might be based on Patreon. I probably also will offer the billing through my website, because it's always the way, like, companies should pay that for their employers, for their employees. But we'll see. That's something which is going to be something new. And that is all the thoughts I have on those 2 years. And yes, I plan to carry the online events forward as long as it makes sense, as long as people are showing up. And I think that we will have a fabulous time in winter, and we probably always will have a fabulous time in winter, and the summers will be free, which is nice also for me. But now we see that September, October, and November, we will have a lot of events. And I hope to see you at one of those or many of those. Thank you for listening.